A very good morning to the honorable judges, teachers, and my lovely fellow friends. My name is Ashna Shankar from Sekolah Kebangsaan Tengku Mariam. Today, let me tell you a story entitled Snow White and the Seven Food Warriors. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled in a lush forest, there lived a beautiful young woman named Snow White. Snow White was known throughout the village, not only for her radiant beauty, but also for her kind heart and her deep concern about the environment. She had a group of close friends who shared her values, including Grumpy, Dopey, Happy, Sleepy, Sneezy, Bashful, and Dog. One sunny morning, Snow White and her friends gathered in a cozy cottage for a picnic. They spread a jacket blanket on the grass, and each one had brought their favorite foods to share. As they savored the delicious feast, they couldn't help but notice something troubling. Grumpy, who had brought a wheel of cheese, grumbled. "Do you know what really bothers me? All this leftover food that's going to waste. It's downright wasteful. It is." Sleepy, while munching on an apple, yawned. "Yeah, Grumpy's right. We need to do something about all this leftover food that's going to waste. It's not good for the environment, and it's not good for our wallets." Snow White nodded in agreement and said, I've been thinking about this issue too. We can't continue to let perfectly food go to waste. It's time we come up with a plan to address this problem." Dog, the wisest of the group, stroked his beard and suggested, "How about we start by gathering all the leftover food and creating a compost pile? That way, we can use the compost to enrich the soil in our gardens and it won't go to waste." Sneezy, who had been discreetly sneezing into his handkerchief, exclaimed, "Ha-ha-choo, ha-choo. That sounds like a great idea, Dog, and I'm sure the plants will appreciate it. Ha-choo." Happy chimed in with his usual cheerfulness. "We can also share the leftover food with those in need. There are many folks in the village that would be grateful for a meal." Bashful, a bit timid but caring, said, "I like that idea, Happy. We should never forget the importance of helping others." Dopey, with a wide grin, added, "And we can be creative with our leftovers. Let's invent some new recipes and make them more exciting." So, the group of friends decided to take action. They gathered all the leftover food from the picnic and sorted it into different piles. The fruits and vegetable scraps went into one pile for compost, while the unspoiled food was set aside for sharing. They then worked together to create a compost pile in Snow White's garden, carefully layering the food scraps with leaves and soil. Dog explained that it would take some time for the compost to be rich and fertile, but they were all too eager to see the results. Next, they packed the unspoiled food into baskets and set out to distribute it to less fortunate families in the village. The smiles on the faces were heartwarming, and it made the friends realize the impact of their actions. Over the following weeks, they continued their effort to reduce food waste. Snow White and her friends even started a community garden to grow fresh produce that should be shared with those in need. As the seasons passed, the village blossomed with new life both in our gardens and in the heart of its residents. Food waste became a distant memory replaced by a sense of responsibility, care for the environment and for one another. One day, Snow White and her friends gathered in the garden, admiring the vibrant flowers and the lush greenery that the compost had helped create. Grumpy, who had initially grumbled about food waste, now had a contented smile on his face. "I guess it's true," he said. "A little effort can go a long way in making a big difference." Snow White smiled at her friends and said, "And when we work together, we can overcome any challenge." Our small actions had brought so much goodness and joy to the village. As the sun set behind the trees, the friends shared a meal from their bountiful harvest of their community garden, grateful for a journey in reducing food waste and bringing about positive change. In their united efforts, they had discovered the true magic of kindness, teamwork, and the power of simple solutions to big problems. And so, in the heart of the forest, Snow White and her friends lived happily ever after, leaving behind a legacy of caring for the earth and each other. That's all from me. Signing off. Goodbye.